Welcome back to another Plays of the Week episode on the Fast Draft channel, and this is Deja Vu week at the running back position. Deja vu meaning, hey, we're just going right back to the same running backs that we loved last week. That's it. It's pretty easy. Pretty straightforward. A lot of the same names from last week that were free squares. We're going right back to them this week. Now, at wide receiver, very different. We have a bunch of receivers that started slow, and this is the week that they either keep the resurgence going or they finally show what they can do, deliver on their potential. And that's what we're going to talk about today. We'll start at quarterback. Why not? We'll start at quarterback, play of the week at quarterback. What do we got? Cheap sleepers for this week. This isn't superstars of the week. This is not what this is called. This is not superstars of the week. This is plays of the week, meaning inexpensive plays for DFS, lineup makers for DFS, streamers, filling holes in rosters. That's what this show is all about. So at quarterback, who do we got? It's Mac Jones. Mac Jones, this is a nice little matchup that he has. Tampa not allowing as many passing yards and fantasy points against to quarterbacks and wide receivers as you might think, but he is starting. He is going to have to throw the ball for this team to be competitive. They are an underdog in the game, so that means there's going to be more throwing. Juwan Jennings is trending towards playing. Ricky Pearsall's trending towards not playing. No Kittle, but if he has Jennings, and you know Bourne can be productive. Bourne was born to put up over 100 yards when he's the only receiver left. That's what he was born to do. So I like Mac Jones. Mac Jones, always underrated, ruined by Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick now in the process of ruining the University of North Carolina's football program. Woof. For a bunch of reasons, I like Mac Jones this week. Bryce Young, also a strong start. I think I'm going to go Bryce Young. If you had to decide between these two guys, I'm going to go Bryce Young. Bryce Young is not as available, certainly, as Mac Jones, because Mac Jones was questionable and is just a fill-in where Bryce Young is an established starter. Bryce Young also has a little more mobility, and he's playing Dallas this week. So in the shallower leagues, I like Bryce Young. I don't want to forget about Bryce Young. I mean, this is the Dallas game. The point total this week is pretty high. So we like to chase the totals, the high point totals. Sometimes you're going to play a guy that you're like, that's not that exciting. But if the game total is high, that means he has a lot of potential to exceed expectations. And when you look at the game total for this week, for that game, it's 49.5. That's pretty good. That's almost 50, right? We got Lions, Chiefs. That has a higher point total. That's like 52.5. We'll talk about some players on those teams a little bit later. But yeah, Bryce Young, he can run in for a touchdown. He has Jalen Coker back. He's getting Jatavian Sanders back. We'll talk about later. There are some plays of the week in this game. A lot, right? A lot. More plays of the week in the Dallas game because it's Carolina and there are just more sleepers available in that game than in Chiefs-Lions, where most of the playmakers are 100% rostered in fantasy football. They're expensive in DFS, so there's just not as much juice, sleeper juice. Is that a term, sleeper juice? We just coined it. Yeah, Cowboys-Panthers. That's going to be our great source of plays of the week, and it starts with the quarterback and Bryce Young. And then we go to the running back, Rico Dowdle. Now, on Fast Draft, we have the Flex 6 Frenzy. And announcement, the Flex 6 Frenzy drafts, we went from 10-team drafts to 8-person drafts. So now these drafts are filling like every half hour. Boom, 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 boom. So jump onto Fast Draft. The Flex 6 Frenzy drafts are filling very fast. $2,500 up for grabs in that particular tournament. $500 to first. So get in there and enjoy. It's just fast, fun drafting frenzy for week 6. And those of you that drafted Rico Dowdle later on, when it was unclear whether Chuba Hubbard was going to play, congrats. But there's still plenty of time to get in and draft Dowdle. Just like last week. There was never a better time than now to draft Dowdle. Dowdle is like crypto. Right? There's never a better time to buy crypto than now. right? You didn't miss out. You're not missing out on Dowdle. The upside is 30 plus fantasy points, especially against Dallas. This is also a revenge game for Dowdle. So even if he's chalk, this is good chalk. Rico Dowdle is the quintessential good chalk play. Lock him in, get him in there. And Rachaad White, like this is deja vu. This is like last week's plays of the week. Dowdle, Rachaad White, doing it again. Just run it right back. There's no Bucky Irving, and we have 47.5 point total with the Buccaneers at home. Anyone want to explain to me why you're not playing Rachaad White? Rachaad White, he dominated. He was the full-blown bell cow. I was hoping Sean Tucker would get more touches. I love Sean Tucker, but they're right. They trust Rachaad White, and he is super electric in the passing game, so just go back to him. And with Chris Godwin questionable and likely not playing with this recurrence of the injury, with the fibula, it's terrible news for Chris Godwin. Hope him all the best. Wish Chris Godwin all the best, and Mike Evans not playing. That's yet more targets, more target share going to be allocated to Rachaad White. I would love for them to play Rachaad White at receiver and play Sean Tucker at running back. That would be the best. They're not going to do that. That would be amazing if they did, though. Hopefully they won't. They were not going to do it. You're going to play Rachaad White no matter what. Right? He's going to get 4 to 6 catches, going to put up 50 yards, going to get you a touchdown on the ground, and 80 to 120 all-purpose yards when you factor in all the receiving yards. Yeah, he's a play of the week. He's still inexpensive in DFS, and he's a guy you have to start. If you picked him up to play him at home against San Francisco in a game that Bucky Irving isn't playing. Then there's some players I want to remind people to play. They are really good. And it's important to kind of take another look at Quinshon Judkins. Quinshon Judkins runs a 4.48 at 220 pounds with incredible explosiveness. This is a mega athlete. And he's going into a nice little situation. Nice little situation for Quinshon Judkins this week. Right? They've got a Dylan Gabriel. You consider him an upgrade at quarterback. I know it's a road game. It's 38.5 point total. We're not out here trying to aggressively play Steelers or Browns for that reason. But Quinshon Judkins is absolutely a DFS play. He's a play where you could see all the fantasy points going to Quinshon Judkins, that they try to just run him without Tillman, right? And they're without Joe Flacco. They're now in their backup quarterback. What are they going to do? They're going to ride Quinshon Judkins. So even in a low point total game, if the running back is undervalued, he's still a great play in all formats, including the Flex 6 Frenzy. I don't think that you could play him in the Quick 6 Super Slam on Fast Draft. The Quick 6 Super Slam, you're just trying to pick the best 6 guys of the week. Because it's a 38.5 point total, I don't think you need to go as deep as playing a guy like Judkins. But in the frenzy, don't forget about Judkins, because he has a big-time TD upside in the context of that offense. And then there's Michael Carter. We're going right back to Michael Carter. I mean, this is how much deja vu can you handle? I mean, is this enough deja vu for you yet from last week? Michael Carter, underrated. Look where he's going in the Flex 6 Frenzy. He's going too late. It doesn't make any sense. He's best comparable to Devontae Freeman. He's a good, solid running back. He was a solid producer, all-purpose back at UNC. He was that with the Jets for a minute before they drafted Breece Hall. And now he is that again in Arizona. And they have the matchup. They have the Indianapolis matchup. Yeah, they're 6.5 point dogs, but so what, right? I mean, this is a game that could go either way. Kyler Murray should play, may play, doesn't really matter. It's not like Kyler Murray's been playing great anyway. I like Michael Carter as a bell cow, especially that heartbreaking fumble for DeMarcado last week. It just means probably more trust and more touches for Michael Carter. And you look at what he did last week. I mean, you look at the game log on Player Profiler, 19 rush attempts? The guy gets activated and runs the ball 19 times. You need to get him in lineups. You need to get him in DFS lineups across the board, in the frenzy, especially. Again, the Super Slam, ew, you probably just need one or two at most sleepers in the Super Slam. Michael Carter does not have the upside. It does not have the explosiveness, and especially if Kyler Murray is out, then the overall offense, the points they can score goes down, and then it's just so his upside is capped. But there's great value there, and he is a guy against Indianapolis, especially. You need to be playing him. You be playing him if you have him in fantasy football. Play him, please. Now, let's talk about the Patriots. Devastating news for Antonio Gibson. We saw him crying as he went off the field. It was sad. I was almost crying. I'm a Patriots fan. I was almost brought to tears because this is a player I've been following since the Senior Bowl. I saw him at the 2020 Senior Bowl. Mega athlete. He's delivered some super explosive plays, back-to-back seasons with double-digit touchdowns. Did you know that? I mean, most people don't know that. It's crazy to think about. Antonio Gibson, back-to-back seasons with double-digit touchdowns, and a lot of them were big plays. And then he finds himself on the Patriots. They appreciated him, and now he's torn his ACL, and he's on the back half of his career. And will he ever come back? And is his career over? Potentially, I don't know. I feel bad for him. But more opportunities for Stevenson, more opportunities for TreVeyon Henderson, especially TreVeyon Henderson. Now, with TreVeyon Henderson, the team had the full week to install packages for Henderson, where you saw what happened. Gibson goes out last week, and what do? They just hand the ball to Stevenson, and he pounds it in for 2 touchdowns. And he also fumbled. Like, this is what he does. We are one more fumble away from Stevenson being permanently mothballed as an NFL player. That's how tenuous his situation is in New England. There's only so many fumbles a coach is going to take. Regardless of the fumbles, the team knows they have explosiveness and big playability with TreVeyon Henderson. And I think this is the week. I think this is the week that they bust him out. You're going to have to call it. They're gonna rip off the plastic wrap on Henderson at some point. Why not a week after Gibson goes down and you have all week to practice and get Henderson fully ramped up to be a much more featured component of this offense? I love him. I love him as just being overexposed to him in DFS this week across all the different formats. You can play him in the Flex 6 Frenzy. He's very playable in that particular format on Fast Draft as well. So I like him. I like the call. I also like Stevenson this is the matchup you want. This is the Saints. And there's a lot of uncertainty about who's going to get the touches at running back given the fumbles from Stevenson. You can lean into that uncertainty, and on some teams, throw in Henderson. Other teams throw in Stevenson. I think I would go 60-40. If I'm building DFS rosters, I'm going 60-40 Henderson to Stevenson, just because I want that upside. Because if they choose to unlock Henderson this week, everyone's going to be looking back going, oh, God, I wish I'd played more Henderson. It's very unlikely that anyone's going to be kicking themselves. Oh, I should have played more Ramondre Stevenson. It's less likely. Then there's another super ambiguous backfield with the Chargers, right? And we have Kamani Vidal and we have Haskins. Now, I expected coaches to come out and put full confidence in Haskins. They didn't do that. The coaching staff is coming out saying, we're going to mix it up. We're going hot hand. That's all we've heard. Hot hand, hot hand, hot hand. And the guy that has the explosiveness and the big playability is Kamani Vidal. Runs the 4.46, comparable to Isaiah Pacheco. Also better in the passing game than Haskins. And yet, you look at the DFS ownership skewed heavily towards Haskins because he's getting the early down work and DFS grinders are chasing that touchdown equity. I get it, but for the same reason that I'm wired to chase that rainbow with Henderson, I'm also going to chase that rainbow with Vidal and go 60-40 Vidal over Haskins. And if someone else wants to chase 2 touchdowns on 40 yards rushing and no catches and hope that they're going to win it all in DFS or cash out in a cash game for DFS, come on. Right? I mean, Hassan Haskins, are we doing this? You're doing it. I'm going to do it. I'm just not going to play as much Haskins as I am Vidal on principle, just like I'm playing more Henderson than I am Stevenson on principle. You do you. The Podfather's going to do the Podfather. And in these particular situations, when it is a coin flip and it is up in the air, I lean who's better in the passing game, who's more explosive, who can score long touchdowns. That's Vidal. That's Henderson. Then there's Kenny Gainwell. Kenneth Gainwell is an interesting case because Jaylen Warren is back, but you can't put Kenny Gainwell back in the tube. You just can't, right? They saw, hey, this guy has 30-point upside. He's a better running back. He's a better all-purpose player. He was in college. He has been in the pros. He has been all along. He just isn't the established veteran on the team. He's a new face, and now they saw what he can do. It's very possible that Pittsburgh just can't unsee week 4. And you look up, and it's an even split between Gainwell and Warren, and Gainwell's the one delivering the big plays. I like Gainwell. I like Gainwell as a sleeper this week where no one's playing him in DFS. Everyone wants to wait and see. Dabble on Gainwell. If you're desperate and need a flex play, you can play Gainwell, especially because it is a home game against Cleveland. There are game script scenarios where you could just see Gainwell getting in there and being heavily used. At wide receiver, Chris Olave. Chris Olave, let's look at the advanced stats on Chris Olave. Advanced stats on Chris Olave are pretty cool. Number 2 in targets, number 4 in target share, number 5 in target rate on playerprofiler.com, which is targets per route run. And this is a team that throws a lot. So Chris Olave is a just a fantastic play. He doesn't have a lot of explosive plays this year. The explosive plays are coming against New England on turf. This is perfect. This is a Chris Olave week if I've ever seen one. Marvin Harrison, this week screams squeaky wheel week, right? You could see it happening. The Colts get shredded by outside receivers. This is the dream matchup for Marvin Harrison Jr. It's just that the advanced metrics on Marvin Harrison Jr. are really as mid as it gets. Like, this is a mid-level player. We're talking about ranking number 35 in target share, number 45 in yards after the catch, and number 42 in yards per route run. So whatever way you want to slice it, you want to look at all routes, you want to look at air yards. He's even in air yards, he's not even in the top 20. At least with air yards, we thought, okay, air yards, this guy would be top 10. No. So he's not even giving you the air yards. He's certainly not giving you yards after the catch. His overall efficiency and his overall target rate is just not good. So he needs to have the absolute perfect matchup in order to have a big game, and this is it. But I think the entire industry is starting to come to Jesus on Marvin Harrison Jr., that he is overrated. And that now with this Malik Neighbors injury, it's looking like, it's Rome Odunze. Rome Odunze, the best wide receiver from that class, from the 2024 wide receiver class. Good for Rome, man. Good for Rome. He's doing great. Speaking of doing great, Stephon Diggs. Now, Stephon Diggs, if you remember, loves playing against New Orleans. Anyone remember this play? Remember this play with the Vikings in the playoffs? I remember where I was. When this play happened. This was amazing. Stephon Diggs eats against New Orleans. That is what he does, and then this is the week to play Diggs and play him aggressively. As you can see, After the first few weeks, he's coming back from the torn ACL. He's getting his body right, and he's getting acclimated, and now he is full go, and I'm all in on Stephon Diggs. Calvin Ridley had the get-right week last week, and then boom. I think he's fully back. You saw Cam Ward getting some confidence. This is pretty cool. I like the situation, and he is the true number one there. They're the 1-4 Titans face the 1-4 Raiders. The Titans go on the road, assuming Cam Ward can run around and not take too many sacks and release the ball downfield. This is another week where I think we see Calvin Ridley once again. And yet in the frenzy, I saw he's only like 35% owned, 40% owned, so still sub 50% owned and rostered in the Flex 6 frenzy. So I think there's some leverage you can get there with Calvin Ridley. I think he should be rostered in all frenzy teams. I don't think he's super slam worthy necessarily. It's interesting. It'd be an interesting play though, because there is real upside with Calvin Ridley. It's just that, what is the game total there? The game total is 41.5. It's just not enough. It's not enough to go chasing rainbows in that particular game. Matthew Golden. Big breakout week happening for Matthew Golden, coming off the bye, a rookie, continuing to develop rapport. You have injuries. There's no Jaden Reed. When are we going to see Christian Watson? Doesn't matter. Matthew Golden is the number one there. Matthew Golden is going to be featured, and again, this is just the perfect scenario coming out of the bye for Matthew Golden to really erupt. So we're picking a couple eruption games. We're picking, Trevion Henderson, Matthew Golden. These are top prospects, and this is the time of year when these rookie players finally decide to wake up and things start to click, the game starts to slow down, and sure enough, it's week 6. You look at your what. This is the time. This is when it happens, and they're at home against the Bengals secondary. Giddy up. We do want some inexpensive sleeper assets that are playing in the highest game total games, and of course we talked about Lions Chiefs. Marquise Brown. Marquise Brown is playable this week. I just want to make sure he is playable. He is top 12 in the NFL among wide receivers in targets, with 40 targets, and he's top 15 in target rate, targets per route run. It's pretty good. We don't want to talk about his efficiency otherwise, but until we see Rashee Rice back, and now we see Xavier Worthy sitting out practice, it's a maintenance day. It's just a reminder that Travis Kelce is post-peak, that Rashee Rice is not playing, that Xavier Worthy's not 100%. This is a game where they're going to have to throw. So it screams shootout. And then what's going to happen? Inevitably, it's going to be like 7-3 at the half, and everyone's going to be like, oh, God. But you picked up Marquise Brown after week 1 to play him this week. So go ahead, play him this week. And you picked up Ryan Flournoy this week. So you play him this week. You didn't pick up Ryan Flournoy, right, with the 4.44 wheels and the 133.2 burst score. I mean, the guy is an athlete, puts up over 100 yards last week when he finally gets an opportunity, and now he's playing Carolina. I know Carolina, they're not giving up a lot in the passing game, but that's largely game script driven. When you're blowing teams out or you're getting blown out, the game script shifts and it really skews. This is a game where, because Carolina has their full complement of receivers back, including Jatavian Sanders, Jalen Coker, Tet McMillan is a great play this week, obviously. Carolina is not going to be facing a team that just decides that they don't need to throw in the second half. Most of the teams that have faced Carolina this year haven't had to throw the ball in the second half. So the fantasy points against from wide receivers, that number is as meaningless as it gets. Carolina does have some playmakers at corner that are going to be shadowing and shifting coverage towards George Pickens, and that just means Ryan Flournoy. Everyone rushed to pick him up, so play him. Also, Kendrick Bourne. Kendrick Bourne is going to be starting. It's going to be Kendrick Bourne and Jennings. Jennings not 100%. Likely playing from behind with Mac Jones. Mac Jones already showed rapport with Kendrick Bourne. I mean, they were Patriots together. This makes sense. This is a shower narrative. This is like a veteran shower narrative. These guys have been showering for many years together. Okay. Play him. Don't worry about Jennings. Pearsall's not playing. Jennings likely to play, but might be in and out of the lineup. Who knows? And then we could. It's gonna. Who else? Who else? Who else? Kendrick Bourne. Kendrick Bourne. Kendrick Bourne. Kendrick Bourne. We're either going back to the guys that we picked up on the waiver wire, or we are, riding these like mid-season emergences from a Stephon Diggs, a Calvin Ridley, a Chris Olave. Start slow, but you start to see glimmers. You start to see these guys starting to hit their stride. Lean into it at wide receiver this week. At tight end, we have just a straight up free square tight end. It's a great feeling when you have just a straight up free square tight end where Brock Bowers, unlikely to play. They shouldn't play Brock Bowers. If you have Brock Bowers and he's not 100%, he has a knee injury and he's nursing, which is something serious, you can't play him against Tennessee. That makes no sense. That is negligence. So you have Michael Mayer clear to the concussion protocol. He's comparable to Zach Ertz. He put up 800 yards 2 years in a row at Notre Dame. 1 year at a 30+% target share at Notre Dame. The guy's actually a monster. So for that reason, I mean, very few teams have this luxury of having another quality tight end behind an elite tight end, but the Raiders have that luxury, and Michael Mayer is a smash this week. Whatever his ownership is in DFS, lean into it. He's good chalk. I also like Harold Fannin this week. I think we saw Dylan Gabriel loves the tight end. And then some weeks it's Njoku, some weeks it's Fannin with the Browns, and there's no Cedric Tillman, so I like Harold Fannin this week. A nice road game. Again, we're not trying to spend up on these games, on players that are playing in a 38-point total, but we're talking fringe options, fill-ins, low salary plays in DFS. That's when you can play a guy like Fannin in a low total game. Chigakonkwo. We're starting to see some hope, some glimpses of development and stability from Cam Ward. That gives us the confidence to play Calvin Ridley. And if you need tight end help, to play Chigakonkwo. This is like the second receiver on the team. So, it's Aominor and it's Okonkwo behind Calvin Ridley. And the target share is pretty consolidated there. I like it. I like the matchup for him. It's good. I'm calling a touchdown for Chigakonkwo. I also like Jatavian Sanders. This is a game we're chasing the inexpensive options that are flying under the radar. When Jatavian Sanders played this year, he was the second option behind Tet McMillan. And he was a featured option at Texas where they had a lot of great receivers. And if he is active and he's trending towards being active, you would play him against Dallas. If you have Jatavian Sanders and he is active and you're not playing him against Dallas, I don't know what to tell you. You have to play him or get rid of him. If he's on your bench and you're not going to play him against Dallas, bye-bye. You don't need him. So play him. And then also, as a lineup maker in salary cap DFS, Jatavian Sanders is nice. Those of you stacking Bryce Young and Tet McMillan against Dallas can throw in Jatavian Sanders for your double stacks. It's a fun week. Some high game totals. go out there and play some fantasy football.